College Board of Trustees meeting April 17th. It is about 7:01. I will go ahead and call the meeting to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Trustee Barry?
Here.
Trustee D'Ambrosio?
Here.
Trustee McDonald? Here. Trustee Moses?
Here.
Trustee Petrikoff? Here. Trustee Watts? Here. Chair Thorpe?
Here. Next item.
Approval of minutes. Approval of minutes for the following Board of Trustees meeting. Regular Board of Trustees meeting, March 20th, 2023. Board of Trustees Policy Committee meeting, March 20th, 2023. Recommended action, make any necessary corrections, and move to approve these minutes.
So moved.
Support.
I'll go with Trustee Barry with the motion and Trustee D'Ambrosio with the support. Was there anything in the minutes that needed to be corrected that anyone saw? Hearing none, may we attach unanimous roll?
Yes.
All right, so be it. Next item.
Recognition and acknowledgements.
Good evening, Chair Thorpe, Board of Trustees, President Cavaluna. I am here for two reasons this evening. The first one is to give recognition and actually recognize the outstanding work of our Women's Recognition Award winners. If you weren't able to attend the luncheon, just wanted to highlight the winners for you. Our Staff Award went to Valencia Puri, Faculty Award, Deborah Zoff, Administrator Award, Karen Sedanowitz, and our 2023 Jean Brazel Community Role Model Award to Christine Donahue. So we congratulate them. We also thank the whole committee for the outstanding work they did, and I know Trustee McDonald, you were a large part of that, and so thank you all so very much. And so now it gives me extensive pleasure to announce one of my colleagues, Rochelle Taylor. She's the athletic director, and throughout her time at the college has made outstanding improvements to our program. She's here to share some achievements and some recognition from our athletics program.
Thank you, Vice President Diamond, and good evening, President Cavaluna, Chair Thorpe, and members of the board.
Good evening.
It's another great day to be a Hawk, and I'm pleased to provide the following athletics acknowledgments. The HFC softball team has been selected to play on the NJCAA Game of the Week to be aired on Saturday, April 22nd on ESPN+. The Hawks will play St. Clair County Community College in Port Huron for a doubleheader at 1 and 3 p.m. The men's basketball team has completed a history-making season, finishing as the MCCAA Eastern Conference champions with a perfect 14-0 conference record. The team also won the MCCAA championship and for the third straight year won the NJCAA Great Lakes District B championship. The Hawks finished with a 6th place finish in the NJCAA Division II Men's Basketball Championship in Danville, Illinois, and accumulated a 28-6 overall record. So let's meet the team. Completing his 4th season as assistant coach, Kirk Bradley. Completing his 6th season, head coach Chris Shepard. Chris Shepard has led 3 teams to the NJCAA National Championship with 2 Elite 8 appearances in the past 3 years. He is a 3-time Eastern Conference Coach of the Year, 2-time MCCAA Coach of the Year, and 3-time NJCAA Great Lakes District Coach of the Year. He has accumulated 130 wins in his 6 years as head coach. Coach Shepard has coached 2 Eastern Conference Players of the Year, 3 Freshmen of the Year, and 1 Defensive Player of the Year. He has also coached 5 NJCAA All-Americans in the last 4 years. In context, Henry Ford has only produced a total of 10 men's basketball All-Americans in its history, with the first 2 being in 1959. So 5 in the last 4 years is pretty good. Not counting this year's team members, Coach Shepard is responsible for 17 players receiving scholarships to play at 4-year institutions all over the country. And this year, his team accumulated a 3.02 team GPA for the fall semester. Congratulations, Coach Shepard, for having such an impact on students' success at HFC. Now I am happy to present the student athletes, and while you can see them in the back of the room, here's a little chance to see them in action.
The number 3 seed, Henry Ford from Michigan. 3rd consecutive appearance and the 4th all-time for this program.
They're really good. They're number 3 in the country. They very well could be the best team in the country. If I was voting, I'd have them number 1. I think they're really, really good. They've got a ton of pieces. They play really hard, play with a ton of confidence, play really loose and really free offensively, and they're unselfish. I mean, they share the ball incredibly well. So many different pieces that can hurt you.
Jackson with the ball. Jackson. Last shot. It's good! Curtis
Wow!
Jackson.
So you can see they like to dunk. So now let's meet the players. Red shirts, Jamal Bradley. Omar Ziegler. Our team manager, Willie Johnson. Yeah, y'all just line up, yeah. And now our players from Detroit, Malachi Baylock. And Malachi also is a member of the Hawk academic team, earning those honors for Fall 22. From Detroit, Ron Hill, also a member of the Hawk academic team for Fall 2022. From Detroit, Marcus Gibbs. Marcus earned honorable mention for All Eastern Conference and also is a member of the Hawks academic team for Fall 2022. From Warren, Tyler Mack. Tyler earned Great Lakes District B All-Tournament Team honors. He was the 3rd team All-Eastern Conference and also Hawks Academic Team honors for Fall 22. From Detroit, Curtis Jackson. Curtis is All-Region, All-MCCAA, 1st team All-Eastern Conference, also Hawks Academic Team honors, Fall 22. From Detroit, Caleb Bates. Caleb earned 2nd team All-Eastern Conference honors. From Detroit, Dwan Seal. Dwan earned NJCAA 2nd team All-America, NJCAA Division II Men's Basketball National Championship All-Tournament Team. He was the Great Lakes District B Tournament MVP, All-Region, All-MCCAA, 1st team All-Eastern Conference, 1-time Player of the Week, and also Hawks Academic Team honors for Fall 22. And from Pontiac, DeQuarian Cole, NJCAA 1st team All-America, Great Lakes District B All-Tournament Team, Eastern Conference Player of the Year, All-Region, All-MCCAA, First Team All-Eastern Conference, Eastern Conference All-Defensive Team, 5-time Player of the Week, Hawk Academic Team Honors for Fall 22. Congratulations to the team for an excellent season, and this concludes the athletic acknowledgements. Thank you.
Hawk pride.
Coach Shepard, do you want to say anything?
Sure. So I just want to say that we appreciate all the support from the school, particularly President Cavaluna. Mrs. Diamond comes to our games. Ms. Taylor, our athletic director. We're extremely proud of the product we put on the floor this year. Our ultimate goal was not met. We were good enough to win a national title. We didn't get there, but as you've heard throughout all their accolades, the accomplishments that they've been able to obtain, I'm extremely proud of them. We've won 24 out of our last 26 games while playing against the best in the country. So they have a lot to be proud of, and hope we've made everyone proud.
Curtis, where's Curtis? Come on up to the microphone. Good season. Yeah, I've just picked you out of nobody, but I want you to speak for the team. Please talk about what this year has meant. I know that you're frustrated. I watched the last game. I think your coach is right. You all had the skills to make it, but you're feeling down about the outcome. But I watched you for 2 years at Henry Ford College, worked through an injury, watched your brother play here, who's now at Wayne State. And it's rare that trustees get a chance to hear from someone who spent time and learned and did very well academically. That was Curtis, who hit that game-winning shot, which probably wasn't needed if we would have had DeJuan playing that game and some others. But Curtis, congratulations on leading this great team, and maybe just talk to the trustees about how your time at HFC has been and where you're headed.
Well, to start, I don't know where I'm headed yet. I'm still trying to see. But my time here has been good. Coach Shep and everybody else on our staff, they do a good job of getting us where we need to be, putting us in positions to be seen and evaluated by four-year coaches and help us move on to the next level. And last year, I ended up getting hurt, but coming back, it was like, I don't know, being a part of this team, it felt good. Every time we stepped on the floor, I thought we was the best team out there. Every time, that's a good feeling. And just we had a real unselfish group. They named a lot of different people who won a lot of different stuff. But it's it could have been easy to try to make it about you, but we had a team that everybody was just bought in on the main goal of trying to win a championship. And whatever we did as an individual, that just happened to happen as well. But I had enjoyed my time this year.
Well, I enjoyed watching you play, and more than that, I enjoyed watching you lead a team. Coach Shepard, the team was great, but what you do for these people in academic requirements, what trustees, what Coach Shepard calls surveillance. He surveils his team to make sure that they're doing well in school. I'm immensely, and I think I speak for the board, I'm immensely proud of your professionalism and your excellence in the classroom, Coach Shepard. And it's really icing on the cake to have folks like this be that successful on the athletic field. And for me to just, call a young man who didn't expect to speak to a bunch of elected officials to do like I knew Curtis could do. And Curtis is just one of many young people who are going to lead our communities and hopefully have a bright future that we can all rely on. So I just want to say on behalf of the entire college, congratulations to you, Ms. Taylor, and all you gentlemen. You made us proud. All right, you can go sit down now. Study for exams.
Trustee McDonald?
I just wanted to say how much I enjoyed watching all of you watch yourselves play. That was great. It was great.
Trustee Watts?
So I just wanted to add that when you guys come back next year, when you've won the national championship game, can we have music and lights? Because I feel like when you're being introduced, it reminds me of like a Pistons game. So I would just like to put that on record if we could do that. That'd be great. So.
And several of them did something that I've never had to do, duck underneath that screen. I don't know why you guys have to. I don't have to. You're not required to stay here. If you've got somewhere else to be, feel free. Anything else before we move to the next item?
Just
All right.
one more
Oh,
quick mention.
yeah.
I am just so proud of their academic accomplishments and their accomplishments on the court. It's amazing. Well done, fellas. Hawk Pride.
Great job.
Next item, please.
President's items?
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I have a long list, but I'm going to move quickly because probably the top of the list is I do want to say to all of our community members who are observing Ramadan, and of course my teammates on this board who are observing Ramadan Mubarak, and for those of you who are observing the fast, I know that it would be really great if the president could get you done by what I think is about 8:16 this evening. So I'll do my very best to do that. But in all seriousness, I hope that any of our students or staff or colleagues who are going through the process of Ramadan are finding enlightenment and peace and empathy as they move intentionally closer to their deity. And I will tell you, I knew very little of the holiday, the culture, or the religion before I moved to Dearborn, and I'm proud of the people I work with who celebrate this holiday, and also for the real meaningful exchange they engage with in their religion and their God during this time. And so I just want you to know, with the deepest solemnity, how much I appreciate what you're doing. This is also National Arab American Heritage Month, and you probably know that is something of a new thing. Back in the 1990s, Arab American Heritage Month was celebrated sporadically in various states at various times, primarily in school districts. But it wasn't until 2017 when Arab America began a national initiative to coordinate all states under the National Arab American Heritage Month. And then 2 years later, in April of 2019, Arab American organizations asked Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, someone we all know very closely, to issue a congressional resolution proclaiming National Arab American Heritage Month. And it was introduced in the House that month, April of 2019, and then referred to the House Committee on Oversight and Reform. And the largest and most promising achievement towards the goal of acknowledging a national recognition of this month was that our United States Department of State has now acknowledged that, and the sitting president, Joe Biden, has acknowledged with the power of his pen this National Arab American Heritage Month, which is the first time in our country's history where a sitting president did indeed acknowledge that. And so for those of my friends and colleagues and students who are Arab Americans, I say to you, congratulations. You are being seen and recognized by the most powerful person in our country, and it is an accomplishment. The next thing I want to do is share a little bit of my time with one of my colleagues, Dr. Harvell. So come on up, Dr. Calvin Harvell. I know that the board knows you, so I don't need to introduce you, but I do want to give Dr. Harvell a little bit of time, and I know it's tough. But I've asked him to do 3 minutes explaining what has been a lifetime of work. The last time we had a conference was last week, and Dr. Harvell is going to tell you about what he's doing to help one of our main goals in our strategic plan, which is to help students from the African American community find both access and success at Henry Ford College. And the one way he does that, and you probably recall, he really ramped this up before the pandemic, which was to bring people of like minds that believed access and success were necessary for that population. Under the auspices of the Black Male and Queens Focus Group, with his colleagues Chardon Claiborne and Dr. Matthews, he's now got us back in face-to-face with that kind of conference. I thank the chairman for joining me during that conference. I enjoyed watching it. And now, Dr. Harvell, I'm so sorry that I have to do this to you, but I know you can do it. Please give us just a quick rendition, and anything you want the board to see that's longer, either written or recorded, I'm happy to share with them.
Certainly. Thank you all, President Calvaluna, Chair Thorpe, honorable board members, here before community overall. My name is Dr. Calvin Jerome Harvell, coordinator of the Black Male and Queens Focus Group. Queens means quintessential, unique, essence of ebony, necessary sisters. It sounds so nice, always say it twice. Quintessential, unique, essence of ebony, necessary sisters. We are an academic and social support network here on the campus of Henry Ford College. I wanted to talk briefly about our conference that we had on April 7th. It was our 4th annual Black Male Retention and Success, Black Male Retention, Success and Best Practices Conference. This was our first Black Male Conference since being back on campus, since prior to the pandemic. We had our first one in 2019. 2019, we had 186 people that were here. For our conference on April 7th, we had 232 people that were here. We had 18 universities and other community organizations that were on campus as well to make sure that they provide all access and all resources to our particular students. We also, in November, had our 2nd annual Excellence of the Black Woman Conference. The first one was done completely online. The Excellence of the Black Woman Conference, we had 467 people here. We had 15 colleges and universities that were represented for that conference as well. The conference is growing. People are coming from all over the country, and I do mean literally. Of course, when we were virtual, we had folks, calling in from California, Utah, Florida, etc. But now that we're back face to face, we had folks here from Indiana, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Ohio, and I'm missing one. I can get that to you all later. I'm going to make sure I stay under my time. Those are the things that we do in terms of our conference. But I do want to make sure, and I brought some props, and I'm just going to, if you want to see them, that's fine. But I want to make sure, because we have not talked about this. The Black Male and Queens Focus Group won the land conference grant, right? The institutional award for the land conference. We'll make sure that I recognize the best students on the planet, the Black Male and Queens Focus Group here at Henry Ford College. So I want to make sure if you all want to see it, I can pass it on. I wanted to make sure that also that I talked about our keynote at the conference was, I don't need a microphone. Our keynote at the conference was Mr. Adam Harris. We worked out a deal with him that we got 100 books, and we were able to give 100 books to 100 participants at our particular conference. I can pass this on as well. Last but not least, 2 more things, and I'm there. Next, I'm looking at my time. I'm actually well. Next week, we're going to be having our annual African-centered graduation ceremony for the Black Male and Queens Focus Group. As of this morning, we have 51 graduates that are going to be essentially graduating. You will see it. I brought this just for you all to see it. We have kente cloth that each student will be receiving, so you will see these students on the graduation at our traditional, at the graduation on May 6th, I think, that we'll have this on. You will also see the students will get special awards from the Black Male and Queens Focus Group, and they wear this as part of their permanent regalia. It was wonderful. I heard a story of some students who were at Grand Valley State University. They did not know each other until graduation. They saw that they had the kid there. They said, wait a minute, you're at the focus group? And they were connected, and they have been connected ever since that particular time. So I'll just pass this on if anybody wants to see it. And last, I'm so sorry. Forgive me. And last but not least, there's a lot. The focus group does a lot. I have to mention this. We had a community read. This community read was extremely powerful. Well, this was during Black History Month. We read The Miseducation of the End by Dr. Carter G. Woodson. Dr. Carter G. Woodson, of course, is the founder of Black History Month. This community read was amazing. We got books for the students. The students did the reading. In fact, this is one of those things I'm so proud of. The campus closed down, come on. I think it was April couldn't have been. February 17th, we had the ice and the snow. The campus closed down. But when the campus closes down, I always say, well, students may still need me, so I'm going to meet them on Zoom. I get on Zoom, the students were there and ready. And it wasn't that they needed me, they were there and ready to discuss the book. We had a magnificent conversation, although the campus itself was closed down. I was so proud of these students, of course, because what? This is not for a grade. This is what they're supposed to be doing in terms of true academic enhancement, academic development. And so what I did is I also want to bring the syllabi, if anybody wants to check it out. This thing was hardcore. I had people actually calling me from around the country. They did not think this was something that was free, that the focus group was doing. They thought this was some type of special symposium, a month-long symposium that we were charging students a special cost for. I had people who were in graduate programs calling me to ask if they could be a part of this thing. I said, this is just for the focus group, and it's free. Nobody could believe it. We do magnificent things here. Black Male and Queens Focus Group. Thank you. I did it.
Thank you, Dr. Rama. Thank you, Dr. Harville. I appreciate you. I appreciate you very much, sir. And I appreciate your wife and daughter helping you at that conference. It was a family event, and you can continue to expect the administration to support you.
Wonderful. Thank you
Dr.
so much.
Harville, before
Yes.
you return to your seat, do any of the trustees have any questions for Dr. Harville? We'll take those at this time. It was nice to get a chance to pop in and see what was going on at the event. Thank you very much for having it here again.
Thank you so much. We'll be looking forward to having our next one in November and then another one in April. So we're planning to have 1,000 folks in November.
Is that the plan to usually do one in the fall and one in the winter semester?
Yes. The one in the fall began online. And so this one was our first one, in terms of being back face-to-face, and 467 students. It was amazing. It really was. And we had folks from all over, DPS students, River Rouge students. I can't get them all. Southfield students, I'm sorry, I can't get them. Although I've talked to all of the principals and stuff, I'm sorry, I can't remember off the top of my head, but DPS, River Rouge, E-Course, Southfield, Redford, et cetera. We had folks from all over, buses were all over the place. Magnificent day.
Great. Trustee Watts?
Just very quickly, I just wanted to say your enthusiasm is contagious, and I look forward to the next event that you put on, and anything else, just continue to send those invitations, because I will make it to one of yours, because I want to be able to be a part of this conversation. But your energy is amazing, and I think your students are so lucky to have you. So thank you so much for everything you do.
You are too kind. Thank you so much. You are too kind. Thank you.
Thanks.
Dr. Harville, I have a question.
Oh, sorry. Trustee Moser?
Yes. You mentioned the graduation for the focus group members. When
Yes.
is that happening?
That is on Wednesday, April 26, 2023, in the Forfa from 6 until roughly about 8 o'clock or so. It's an opportunity to celebrate the students, but also everybody's invited. So parents, mama, daddy, hairdresser, barber, everybody comes to this thing actually. It's amazing, again, to make sure that their entire community is supported and celebrated as well. Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm good.
Thank you, Dr. Harville. I appreciate
I'm
it.
going to grab these things here and get back to the focus group office. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to quickly go down several things that we've done over the last time since we were last together. And many of you all were there, and that's one of the reasons I want to have your colleagues know what some of your other colleagues have done. Of course, Mr. Chairman, you and I enjoyed the Rotary Gala. That was at the the Dearborn Performing Arts Center. I believe Trustee Petlishkoff joined us there, and I was...
And Trustee D'Ambrosio.
Trustee D'Ambrosio. That was a good event that had a lot of support from Henry Ford College and, of course, elected trustees. We had the first in-person Hawk Talk, which is the new and improved edition of First Fridays. That was last week, and we had that in the Student Center. It was a great event, and we'll continue to have those. We're unclear whether we're going to have one next month because, of course, next month is the end of our semester. And you recall that we were doing First Fridays in person, and then we moved them to a different day in the week, and we were going to have them in person around the campus, but one of them was canceled as a result of what Dr. Harville just mentioned, the day we had ice. But that's a continuing improvement process to build community, and I'll continue to invite trustees to that. Last week, we were proud to have Senator Debbie Stabenow come to campus, and Trustees McDonald, Petlishkoff, and Watts were part of that. And I just want to say how proud I am of really everyone who was involved in that. And that involved Vice President Satkowski and his facilities team, Vice President Nealon and his academic team, and Dean Chapman, who made presentations. But the real true hero there was Vice President DeLong, who not only planned and pulled off a really good event where our college looked as excellent as we are, which is difficult, but she had to plan it, stop planning it, scrap it, and then start it back up over the weekend before the event, and it went off without a hitch. And for those of you that were not there, I would ask you to ask the trustees who were. Henry Ford College is leading on both curriculum, but also being the college that is most focused on helping students find successful outcomes. And in this event, it was a successful outcome with an international employer, Johnson Controls, that is only icing on the cake for what Vice President Satkowski was successful in implementing here for a program to reduce our carbon footprint by 50%, our electricity costs by 60%, and our water costs by 40%. Of course, you know that that all pays for itself in where somewhere between 13 and 15 years. And if it doesn't pay for itself, that cost of $23 million to retrofit our campus, if it doesn't pay for itself, the Johnson Controls Corporation will pay us the difference. So it is the real trifecta of the government supporting us, which is what Debbie Stabenow gave us with $3 million to continue building the curriculum, industry supporting us, which is what Johnson Controls has done, and us supporting students finding careers in this for construction projects like this across the country. Also last week was Michigan Community College Day at the Capitol, and it was one day in a month, which is Michigan or Community College Month. So I have to tell my friends who are Arab Americans, you've got competition for April, because the governor called April Community College Month. And I saw a video by the former First Lady, Michelle Obama, who was bragging on community colleges about April. So Trustee Watts was there as your representative for MCCA, Michigan Community College Association, and we squeezed in a lot of advocacy on behalf of you all, both employees and board members. We met with the Chief of Staff for the Speaker of the Michigan House of Representatives, Joe Tate. We spoke with our Senator Sylvia Santana. We spoke with the chairman of the Detroit caucus, Representative Tyrone Carter, who also serves on our foundation board and is a graduate. We spoke with our Representative Alabas Farhat and our Representative Aaron Burns, all Trustee Watts, I think, in about a 3-hour span. We were moving pretty quickly there. And it was a good opportunity to highlight both Henry Ford College and community colleges. Saturday, Trustees McDonald and Ambrosio and I enjoyed a very nice event in our student center that didn't look like a student center. It looked like a wedding reception. That was because our friends in the culinary department really dressed up that student center to look like a fantastic venue where they had a 50-year celebration for our culinary department. We enjoyed music by the big band, and we had wonderful food, and of course the people there, including Dr. Michael Nealon, had to endure me speaking for a few minutes, but it was a wonderful event, and I appreciate Trustees D'Ambrosio and McDonald and their families coming to join us. Of course, you know, Trustee McDonald doesn't need to be convinced too much, because that's where she earned her degrees here from Henry Ford College, so I appreciate you both being with us. The last two things are probably the most important, and I'll be quick, and then I really will be done. Poor Dr. Michael Nealon has been having to share his birthday for his entire life because he's a twin. And today he's got to not only share it with his twin, but Henry Ford College. I can't imagine that there are any better places to be on your birthday, but Dr. Nealon is here with us on his birthday, and I say from all of us, Dr. Nealon, you're a great teammate, an excellent academic leader, and I wish that you could be somewhere else, but I'm glad you're here.
All I ever wished for was a bedroom to myself.
And the last thing, Vice President Diamond talked about some awards at a women's recognition luncheon, but one that I'm glad she didn't mention reads the Women's Recognition Luncheon Award thanks Kathy Demetrio for her service 2023. It's got the emblem of Henry Ford College on it. And it's a perfect month to have this award for Miss Demetrio, because some of you may know April is also the month that she shares with Dr. Nealon in the birthday. So Kathy Demetrio celebrated a birthday early this month, and of course she has a wonderful award. And for those of you, well, I've been here long enough, you know, she holds everything together for me. So happy birthday. The cabinet and the college were proud to give her a very nice Easter bouquet. You know, she celebrates Easter with the Orthodox tradition just last weekend, so April's a big month for her. And we hope you had a great birthday. Obviously, the Women's Recognition Luncheon thought very highly of you, like we all do. And that is my report.
Questions for President Cavalluna? All right. Dr.
She didn't know I was going to bring that down here either. I had to snatch it off her desk.
Dr. Nealon, for your birthday, we are not going to sing to you. You're welcome. Next item.
Discussion items, proposed winter 2023 Technology Investment Fund projects, board report number 4694, Vice President Setkowski.
You know, while Vice President Satkowski is coming up there, let me add one more thing. Colleagues from Henry Ford College, we will not have a board meeting next month. That's going to be in the end of this agenda, but I just want to underscore it. This board will sit as the P12 board for our May board meeting. If you have any concerns about that, please come to me, and that is to help the P12 with a scheduling issue. I'm sorry, that was on my list, Mr.
Thanks,
Chairman, and Mr. Satkowski, go ahead.
This is the Technology Information Fund. Trustee members, we do this twice a year. I'm not the chair of the committee, but the group is in the process of getting a new chair. Bob James' term expired, and so I'm stepping in for Bob tonight. There are 3 projects that the committee went through for this spring. All 3 of them have major impact on the number of students, especially with the physics proposal, which deals with updates of equipment. Will touch almost every physics student that is taking physics here at the college. Also the math department, we're talking about 14 different offices with relationships to updates in those areas. And I left the athletic area last, but it's first, of course. We have major renovation going on in the locker rooms in that facility, and this is just a piggyback onto the update to that facility with study tables and arrangements for our student athletes to continue to be successful. I was very impressed listening to the basketball team and the number of student athletes and the athletic awards that they have earned here. So all 3 of these projects were unanimously approved through the committee. Major impact, like I said, on students, and they're being paid for out of the TIFT allocation funds, which had before this around $275,000. This will use around $260 of it, but there's more in that account now since we are currently doing the summer registration, and then a fall registration will be coming through as well, so there'll be another round of these later in the fall. And any questions on any of these? Hopefully I can answer.
I don't see any.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You can stay up there.
Next, proposed fiscal year 2023-2024 budget, board report number 4695, Vice President Setkowski.
With that, then, I'll stay here for a few seconds, and then I'll just introduce Brian Bain, the Director of Budgeting and everything else that he deals with out of my office, since he's right down the hallway, and I can just go, Brian, I'll pick up the phone, and here he comes down the hallway. And that's just an inside joke. I used to have that same relationship with my assistant budget director at the University of Toledo. Our offices were right next door, and we never called each other. We just could hear each other's voices and hear we would work together. But Brian will do the presentation for this year's fiscal 2024 upcoming budget, which starts July 1.
Good evening, Chair Thorpe, President Cavaluna, board members. I'm here to present the proposed 2024 fiscal year general fund budget. In last year, our original initial budget was for $94.5 million revenue and approximately the same amount in terms of expense, with a small excess revenue of $63,000. Mid-year, we adjusted the budget downward $1 million in revenues and $1,300,000 in expenses, such that the excess revenue went from $63,000 to $363,000. Our proposed budget for next year is approximately $96 million in revenue and 95.7 in expenses, with excess revenue of $240,000. In terms of the revenue changes, our revenue increase is almost $1.5 million from the original budget for '23. The items that make up the changes from that budget, we've got a small decrease in bad debts, our state aid, and the PPT, which is the old personal property tax. Revenue is expected to go up a little over $1 million. Our property taxes are anticipated to go up approximately $300,000. With the increase in interest rates that you've seen everywhere, for us it's a good thing. We're looking at $1.25 million more in interest revenue next year. One of the things that is reflected on a negative from last year is we did not hit our enrollment numbers, and so $2.3 million reflects a decrease in the credit hours that were taken and a change in mix. We do not anticipate a change in enrollment next year. We've budgeted at basically at flat, at zero, not plus anything and not minus anything. And then our tuition increase is increased $1.2 million for next year. On the expense side, overall, our expenditures are anticipated to go up $1.3 million from our original budget in '23. That's made up of contractual increases, all our various contracts with various union groups, $1.6 million. We anticipate a decrease in adjunct costs based on the fact that we had less credit hours, and we're budgeting a flat enrollment next year. Our fringe benefit increased $450,000 for next year. We've got some retirements, $250,000 less staff in that. We have some position increases, which is the positions and the benefits of $480,000. Next year we have a decrease in mandatory transfers of $619,000. You mentioned earlier the energy project. I'm pleased to say that we're looking at $347,000 less in utility expenses next year. We've got data processing increase, mostly software licensing of a couple $100,000, and we've added a couple $100,000 for building improvements next year. And then all other items as a net $85,000 decrease. Some of our initiatives that are carrying over to next year are classroom facility renovations, marketing compliance structure, student success and retention, the River Rouge drainage system, the North Loop electrical upgrade, and the tech building, which I understand should be complete in August. And then I'd like to share from fiscal '22. This is information for full-year equivalent students. The red is the state appropriations, the purple is property tax, and the orange is tuition and fees. And I've got statewide, Macomb, Wayne, Schoolcraft, Oakland, Washtenaw, and Henry Ford on the far right. And as you can see by that, our tuition and fees are in line with the state overall. One of the things that is our burden is the fact that we don't have the property tax revenues that Oakland, Wayne, Washtenaw, even Schoolcraft have supporting us. But we're doing much with what we have, and finally, our budget for fiscal '24, approximately $96 million in revenue, 95.7 in expenses, excess revenue of $240,000. And with that, I will open it up to the floor for questions.
I want to point out one thing that Brian put up there, didn't comment on, and that is the faculty budget that we negotiated and were very successful with our 1650 folks and your team. Our calculation, based upon what's in the contract, shows that we have 174 full-time faculty members as the calculated amount. We budgeted this year 177, so with 3 more in there. Dr. Neal and I didn't have to arm wrestle. It was very convincing as to which programs that are growing and needed the additional resources in those areas, so we came to an agreement to increase the full-time equivalents to 177.
Thank you, John.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question? Mr. Boehm, can you slide back? Go maybe one slide back. One more. Go to the slide with the bar graphs.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this one. Trustees, this is what every college gets in real dollars per student if you make it so that each student has the equivalent of a full-time student. And what I want to draw your attention to is underscoring what Mr. Boehm said about what we do pretty well with what we have. So what this graph does not show, but what is very powerful to underscore the point, is how many credit hours each institution is delivering. And you may not know, but Henry Ford College delivers the 3rd most of any community college in the state. There are only 2 institutions that deliver more credit hours. One is Oakland, and one is Macomb. And you can see there that nearly all the institutions, well, I can tell you, all those institutions on that graph, except Macomb, get more money per full-time student. And all of them get, and many of them get a lot more money to deliver credit hours to students. So what you see there in the far right with Henry Ford College is the 3rd highest producing credit hour college that is remaining in one of the lower parts of how much money we have to deliver those credits. And I don't say that to plead poverty. I say it to congratulate John Setkowski and Brian Boehm for helping me deliver to you year after year after year of very tightly controlled budgets. And the truth is, each of those other institutions, particularly on this graph, deliver the same programs, deliver the same breadth. And we're competing with them and doing better. And the reality is how we do it is from the people sitting on the front row right there. The vice presidents, they really deliver more with less than any one of those institutions, and that's how we have the lowest amount of funding per full-time student, except for Macomb. That's not a question, Mr. Rame. I just wanted to augment that.
No, I appreciate you driving that point home. Thank you.
One question I would have is, this was predominantly happened in the fall. There was less enrollment than we had originally expected, and you mentioned that one. If we had a 1% drop in enrollment, what would that do to this proposed budget? My numbers are coming up slightly negative, maybe 100,000.
If I look at enrollment and use 1%, that's generally about $500,000.
Okay.
In terms of revenue.
Okay. But of course,
So-
the expenses would then switch around a little bit as well.
Yes, so the revenue, the expenses would be reduced, particularly in the area of the adjunct faculty, because that moves, that's probably the one that moves the most with enrollment one way, with credits up and down.
Okay. All right. Any additional questions on the budget? And this would be an action item that we would have at the P12 meeting in May then?
Correct.
Okay. No other questions? We'll move on to the next item.
Great.
Thank you.
Citizen participation. Citizens wishing to address the board on agenda and non-agenda items for action who have submitted a blue card by 7:10 p.m. to the secretary may speak at this time. The board may not be in a position to respond to non-agenda items, therefore speakers should not anticipate an immediate response for the comments or questions. For the benefit of all concerned, do not mention the names of students or college employees. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. If during those 3 minutes the comments become personally directive, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant, your public comment time may be interrupted or ended. We have one blue card. Ms. Kathy Gangarosa would like to come to speak to the board about the President Nurse Association of HFC. Proud announcement.
Good evening, President Cavaluna,
Good
Chair
evening.
Thorpe, Board of Trustees, Administration, and Dean Shore. My name is Kathy Gangarosa, and for the last 17 years, I've been the faculty advisor for the Student Nurse Association. And I'm not sure you're aware of all that we do, how we impact our students locally, as well as globally by doing mission trips and peanut butter and jelly mission trips and all that other good stuff that we do. The reason I'm here today is because, first off, I'd like to introduce you to Christy Buck, who joined me this semester as co-faculty advisor. And we all just flew in from Nashville this morning, y'all. And I didn't do that very well. I was working on that one. But anyway, we were at the National Student Nurse Association annual convention this past week, and we've learned so much. But what I'm so proud of, and so incredibly proud of these two students right here. Are you crying? Oh my gosh. First off, this is Trey Harpole. He's a third semester student, and he was elected to a national officer position just on Saturday night. In fact, I texted Cindy Shore and I said, "When's the board meeting? we need to announce this." So I am super proud of him. He's a director and he's also the chair of the National Election Committee. And his sidekick right here is Misty Russell, who is a state officer, is the communications director, and she was just his campaign manager, and we just met. There was like 2,500 people at this convention, and we're going to give you some of our swag that we passed out, and I just wanted you to recognize him and these two students who are just perfect. They're great role models, and I don't know if you know that this is my last hurrah as I'm retiring on May 8th. So it's hard to say goodbye, but I'm so proud of what we've done here at Henry Ford College, and I've been part of SNA since I was a student back, way back in the 80s. So anyway, I just love the SNA, and I love Henry Ford. So thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Trustee McDonald.
Yes, I just have a question. It was several years ago, Kathy, that you, for the Student Nurses Association, did a fundraiser, and I remember I was able to attend, and I just wanted to know if you still do those, and if you do, can you let the board know, because this is such a great organization. If we're able to, I would definitely come to a fundraiser
So we
to
did,
support it.
we did mission trips. In fact, at one of the conventions, we learned it's called International Service Learning, and I was able to go on 5 mission trips. We've gone to Haiti.
I think that was
Yeah,
Haiti,
that's
I
when
think
you
was
came
the
to
one
the
I
bowling
went, yeah.
fundraiser. But COVID kind of put a stop to that because
Okay.
we were actually planning on a trip to Africa and then going back to Belize because we love the people of Belize, and then COVID kind of happened. So they're still kind of slow getting it going, but hopefully we'll be able to continue to do those because seeing the students' growth from, the assessments, because they work with the physicians in each of these countries, and how they learn with so little of resources than what we have here in this country. It's amazing what the students learn, so it's pretty awesome. But yeah, we'll let you know.
Thank you very much.
Chrissy's gonna let you know. I'm not. I'm gonna be traveling. I'm gonna be travel nursing. So.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item, are there any action items on this agenda which board members or the president wish to discuss and vote on separately? If there are, we will exclude these from the action items below.
I believe number 7.
Needs a roll call?
Number 7, we need a roll call. Any questions, though, on any other items or anything else that any of the trustees would want pulled? I do not see any other items. Trustee Watts.
Okay. Move to approve action items numbered 1 through 8 as recommended in this agenda, except for 7.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Trustee McDonald, supported by Trustee Barry. No one said they had any questions on those action items then, correct? All right, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. And then action item 7, if you can read the recommended action.
Move to approve the tuition rates for in-district students at $111, out-of-district students at $194, and out-of-state/international students at $281 for fiscal year 2023-2024, beginning with the 2023 fall semester.
We need a motion.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Trustee Petlicoff, support by Trustee McDonald. Questions or comments from trustees? Trustee Moses?
I just have a comment, and from the presentation that we had the bar graphs, and the 2 things that, or the 3 things, the 3 revenue streams that we have for the college are well known, and one of them is not changing, and I have called in the past to look into the possibility of changing that, which is increasing the tax base for the college. There was a legal memo. I asked for a study session last year, but it seems like that's not getting traction. I appreciate all of the work, and it's unfortunately we would have to increase tuition each time to solve this issue. But I wish that we take the time also to look into the other option. As we saw from the bar graph, we're the only community college, we're actually the lowest community college on that list that has a small tax base. However, our taxpayers are paying the highest currently at 4 mills. So this will explain the way that I vote is we really have to look at that option.
Thank you. Additional comments from any other trustees? All right, may I please have a roll call?
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee D'Ambrosio?
Yes.
Trustee McDonald?
Yes.
Trustee Moses?
No.
Trustee Petlicoff?
Yes.
Trustee Watts? Yes. Chair Thorpe?
Yes. All right, next item, please.
Board of Trustees business, acknowledgements of correspondence.
We all got notification about the nurses pinning ceremony coming up on Cinco de Mayo, the day before graduation. So we're going back to back on ceremonies here.
And the day of the president's wife's birthday.
Cinco de Mayo?
Yes.
All right, margaritas will be ready. I can't recall any other correspondence for the college. Oh, one question. I know that the board has been getting emails, as I'm sure everyone else in the college has, about some security items that we are being required to do. Please make sure you take a couple minutes to get that done. It was very enlightening to me about how I have to make my password way stronger than I ever thought as I'm going through this training. Next item.
Board committee reports. I'll just continue. Speaking, policy committee met earlier today. We reviewed several items. One of them was a draft for the revised conflict of interest policy. We have a couple of corrections that we asked our attorney, Amy Gibbs, to review that she'll pass along to Ms. Clark. The other one was we had a question during our DPS board study session regarding when we could have an organizational meeting. We have a memorandum, but there are some clarifications that we need on that for some subcategories. So once those corrections are done, then we will go ahead and distribute that among the entire board so everyone has that in their hands. The other one that is going to be quite lengthy, so please be patient with us, is that we requested a comparison of the Dearborn school bylaws and HFC bylaws. Ms. Gibbs and Ms. Clark will categorize those into three categories, one of which will be those that are separate bylaws, and we will add those to our operating manual. So those that bylaws may be specific to DPS versus HFC will be known to everybody and will have easily, readily available in your operating manual. However, before we get to that part, you will, and I have asked that as we go through bylaws, what would be a reasonable length of bylaws that you would be able to review. I asked that it be no more, depending on the bylaw, 5 pages, depending on redlining as well. If we are then told, or if I'm advised that perhaps we need to speed it up somewhat, I will ask and give you guys forewarning so that perhaps if we say that this month might be a little bit heavier in terms of how much needs to get revised, that we give you advance notice in case there are vacations or whatnot, or if you have vacations and it might be a little bit more lengthy, that we could change those for a certain month. And then we also looked at the 2 more documents that we are going to update. Code of conduct for members of the board, and then board member opportunities and expectations. So there are some corrections that need to be made to that, and once those are corrected, we'll share that with the entire board.
Any questions for the policy committee?
You mean to tell me that policy isn't good beach reading?
Unfortunately not, no, so.
No,
yes.
you covered everything.
Okay, thank you. Did I miss anything?
No, you got it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Next.
Request for information
Real
and.
quick, just want to.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you,
Oh, yes,
Kathy. Kathy emailed all of us the presidential performance appraisal. I also dropped off a hard copy at everybody's desk this evening. If you can, I already have 2 of them back. If you can fill them out and get them back to me by the end of the week or something, I'm willing to pick them up. You can scan and email them to me too. So I'd like to get the committee together as sooner the better with instructions from our chair. So I'd like to get that done as soon as possible. If you have any questions, contact me. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Next, request for information and or future agenda items.
All right, next item.
Board member comment period.
I will bring up what President Cavalluna mentioned earlier for the college. The P12 has been asked to continue working on their 30-year plan, and they wanted us to have another date. And as you can imagine, this is getting to be a very busy time of the year, and instead of trying to find an additional date, I asked President Cavalluna if he could work with Dr. Maleko And they were able to come up with the idea that the college's normal board meeting would be when we'll do the study session. Items like the budget or anything else that have to be done for college business will be on one of the probably the regular May board meeting for P12. And then we'll be back here for our next regular meeting would happen then June. I'm not going to come up with the date. 19?
12.
Yeah, that's right. It's 12. So thank you very much for being flexible on that one. Any other commentary from any of the other trustees? Trustee McDonald?
I just have to say again, as was mentioned earlier, the Women's Recognition Luncheon was fabulous. Very good job by everyone. It was nice to be back in person. And I've had a lot of people come to me personally and tell me how much they enjoyed it. And again, the Culinary Arts program, their 50th anniversary. Wow. If you weren't there to look at the room, there's got to be pictures. You've got to see it. It was amazing. The students just knocked their socks off. They did a great job. So very proud of the college and everything that's going on.
Thank you. President Cavalluna?
Yeah, thank you. We'll file this comment under an attempt at a presidential joke, but I think it was Trustee Watts who made comments about, was it Trustee Watts or Trustee Thorpe saying the basketball team should have lights and music?
Trustee Watts.
Yeah. So I was just waiting, Trustee Watts, for Athletic Director Taylor to come up during the TIF proposal. Because I don't know if you noticed, the TIF proposal was, there was an athletic enhancement. And I could just hear her coming up and saying, by the way, we want to add about $60,000 for lights. And and she left, so I'm sure I'm safe teasing her about that. Congratulations, Chair Thorpe. Chair Thorpe ran the 10K at the Martian Run. And I was lined up for the 5K myself, and there he was with his entire family. I mean, it was a model of exercise and getting out, so congratulations.
It was a model of the parent telling the child, you will do this.
And a couple other announcements that are not jokes, they're serious and exciting. I've asked and he has accepted, Reginald Best will be the one organizing the process to do the ceremonies where we will execute your will on the naming of the two things you decided to name last board meeting. The name in Rick Goward's name, the band room in Rick Goward's name and the student center in John McDonald's name. So you can expect that to be coming from Reginald Best. Also, I hope to see you at commencement on May 6th, the day after Cinco de Mayo. We have two great commencement speakers. One is the mayor of Dearborn, and the other is the lieutenant governor of Michigan. Those of you who had requests for information of the administration last month, I outlined various ways I plan to answer those questions in your president's update, which was circulated about a week and a half ago. Please let me know if my proposal for answering those is not sufficient. And then last, I see Sam Bazzi, who's an instructor, and I believe still an officer in Local 1650 of the AFT. And it's just a point of privilege that I can say he's probably a pretty proud dad, because we have a young lady to the way we look to the left who is representing Sylvia Santana. That is Sarah Bazzi, who is Sylvia Santana, Senator Sylvia Santana's representative there. So she's I'm sure making her dad proud, and probably now embarrassed. But Sarah, thank you for serving the senator, and Sam, congratulations. I hope someday to have the pride that I'm sure you must have as a parent. Those are my comments. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Additional comments from the board? One other one I'll bring up briefly. Getting back to what Trustee Mosip said regarding funding. I'm become of the belief that those that are using the college and the campus should be the ones that pay for it, which is along the lines of what you're saying, is that I have no problem letting the students pay their tuition. I believe in the so-called skin in the game, that it's much more meaningful if you're helping to pay for your education. Those of us that had to pay for our education, whether it was at the time or for many, many years afterwards, you definitely get more of an appreciation for that. So just wanted to add that one. Any other comments before we move? Next item, please.
Future meeting dates, Monday, May 8th, 2023, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. Monday, May 15th, 2023, study session, 6 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. Monday, June 5th, 2023, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. Monday, June 12th, 2023, HFC Board of Trustees Policy Committee meeting, 6 p.m. at the Administrative Services and Conference Center in the Cabinet Conference Room. And Monday, June 12th, 2023, HFC Board of Trustees meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Services and Conference Center in the Rosenau Boardroom.
Congratulations to all of our graduates on their time with HFC. We look forward to seeing you in the future.